Hey girl, hey.
Hey.
Hey girl, hey podcast on urban media. Today we're going to full 30 on this because we have to talk to our millennial. Now she's smart. She's
Of
kind.
course, yes,
She's
she is.
important.
Yes, she is.
We're going to talk about reparations. And
Mhm.
it's actually been a major subject in a lot of conversations, even in this 2020 election, because right now black is cool. And black is making a lot of noise. And you had that person with that clipboard is going off like.
Mhm.
And so this past week, I watched CNN's United Shades, hosted by W. Kamal Bell. And LaShawn said I just think he just popped up out of nowhere, but he's a comedian and he's a reporter for CNN. And he does these reports across America. One report was actually in Pittsburgh, and he was just talking about the Steel City and how it's not it's not for black folk. Pittsburgh is
Yep.
not for black folk, and talked to
Wow.
some folk from one hood. Talked to
Jasir.
Jasiri X and what is her name?
Uh, Who?
Politician Summer Lee.
Oh, Summer Lee. Yeah.
He talked to Summer Lee, and she talked about the history of Braddock and just how, it was a steel mill. And then when things went down, the black folks left, the prices, it was just crazy. But anyway, for this particular episode, he talked about reparations, and he started in Louisiana because Louisiana was a slave state. And talked about, what do you do if reparations was granted to the black community, the descendants of slavery? I did not know that other ethnicities or ethnic families, other
Chinese.
Jewish, Asian, Native American.
Native American receive. Are you talking about received checks? Their
I want to
descendants.
say they received their reparations. Forgive me if I am incorrect on this one. I do know, and I was corrected because I thought it was slave families or families of former slaves that had received reparations, but I was told the slave owners received reparations. $300 per slave. So basically, it's like trillions of dollars owed. And I was just like, how is that divvied up? How do you determine who gets what and for how long? And what does this mean? And is this really going to happen? Jerry, the episode is just, it's eye opening. I'm trying to find 1619 t-shirts. I'm like woke a little bit. I ain't woke, but I'm kind of like one eye open woke. So, one eye open woke. And I'm intrigued. I wanted to find my family, my ancestors. I want to go to Ancestry and look at my family, because I feel like we just been in the dark for so long. What do you think, LaShawn?
So when it comes to reparations, and Spike Lee did 40 Acres and a Mule. And that was the name of his production.
That's his production company.
That's his production, because that's what slave owners said that they were going to give them once after slavery was over. If you work on, you'll get 40 acres and a mule. We never got it. And there's some, and I don't know if I'm not sure that I have to go back, but I know that the United States has paid reparations, and I want to say it's to Asian. I mean, some like Pearl Harbor, some one of those paid to their descendants. Black people never got it, but some would think, that reparations has been paid to us because of different things, scholarship funds and things like that have been given. Even in this time of Black Lives Matter, with some businesses, donating millions to the Black Lives Matter fund, like that's a form of reparation. And that's not a form of reparation. That's actually giving back what you have stolen for a long time. That's not reparations, making amends and, moving forward. Like, people have suffered. You're just making amends for this small amount of time. I'm talking about going back from descendants. Some people think that stimulus checks that they receive is
reparations.
The stimulus check.
I still didn't get it, so
and the second round ain't coming.
Right, so
nope.
It's this thing here. Look, I don't know if we'll ever see it, and I don't even know what that would look like. How far they would have to go back. Do we have to do the work and find who our ancestors are and then say that they were on this plantation, and then we have to put documentation in front of them and say, because when you look at any Black person, we're descendants of slaves. That's one thing that's for sure and certain. We all are descendants of slaves. So how far do we have to go back, and what documentation do we have to present to get the money? And if it's trillions of dollars, how much do we get? Where are we going with this?
I don't think that's for today. Like, I think it was up until slavery ended.
People are looking for
more. He counted it at 11 cents an hour in the hours that you worked. 11 cents an hour.
11. That is wow. I couldn't. Wow.
Yeah. So
that's terrible.
I don't know. They had like the 1619 project, which is like the reparations project, things like that. All I want to know, like I said, what documentation do we need to put forward? What do we need to know? Why do we always got to prove our Blackness? We always got to prove that we come from slaves. We got to prove it to our people. We got to prove it to them. And
politics.
Yeah, it's always politics. We always got to put documentation so we can get some money for it.
Does it have to go to people? Can it go to
community development,
education, community empowerment?
That's what they're saying now.
Police refunding, not defunding, reform. Now, if I were to ask my uncles, my great aunt passed away, but if I were to ask, if they were here today, my great grandmother, my great great grandmother, if I were to ask them today, okay, so we got a reparations check and you have a choice of it going to the local library and building the local library or it coming to your house, I'm pretty sure they're going to say, I want my money.
They don't want to put it in nothing. Give me that money
I
now.
Want my money. But grandma, you wasn't a slave, but I don't care. My grandmother was.
My grandmother was.
And her grandmother was. And her grandmother was. And now this is for all of them.
Bring me my check. I just, and this was a conversation that was in the piece on how we spend the money. And the woman who created the 1619 organization project, she was just saying, you can't tell me what to spend, how to spend money that is owed to me.
Right.
It's mine, and it's going to go back into the economy anyway, however I do it. I just look at it like, okay, but are we going to build what was taken with the reparations check?
Yeah. I don't see it as a bad idea, but some people may not have this building, what was, taken and putting it into the community and stuff. Some people just may not have the same mindset, like you said, your great.
She said, if I want to buy Gucci, I'm gonna buy Gucci.
Right. Even
how does that help?
Yeah.
And it doesn't help. The slave mentality where I'm just gonna look out for me and not look out for the community I'm gonna build.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
One woman in the piece said, I want to build the community back up that was taken. And they talked about, oh my gosh, you got to watch the episode. It talks about Hurricane Katrina. And after the devastation from Hurricane Katrina, how they wiped out the schools and they wiped out the projects and took the families, put them on buses, did not tell them where they were going, and never rebuilt.
Never brought them back.
Never brought them back. Never rebuilt. Over 100 schools in Louisiana or in New Orleans are now charter schools.
Yep. And they put up new like townhouses
where the projects were.
Where the projects used to be. It's unbelievable because I remember when Katrina and all that was happening. They put those people on buses, like, I don't know if you guys are familiar, like Jonestown, and there was Jim Jones, and he was this false prophet, and people followed him, and people were getting on buses and droves to go to Jonestown. They were doing all that's how they put them on buses. These people were getting on buses, leaving their homes because of the levees breaking, and they were like, you know, I don't even know if they even gave them an end date. They just said, get on the bus, and people got on.
Some came here, some came to Pittsburgh.
Right. They were going to Texas, everything.
Everywhere.
And then whenever the levees came and it broke and it cleared everything there, they never rebuilt anything those people had. They took all of their stuff and started building these high-end homes that they cannot come back to and live in at all. So those people are not living there. Yep. And that places, you know, all the stuff that they build, people that was their heritage.
Yeah.
I mean, I think who was it? Harry Connick Jr. and Wynton Marsalis.
Brad Pitt, Wynton Marsalis.
Yeah. They did like a jazz, but for jazz musicians, because Louisiana is so rich in history when it comes to jazz and music. Right. So they had to do a village. Down there, and I can't remember the words. I've been to Louisiana a couple of times, but they did a village down there, and so the jazz can, and they made it income where they can afford it.
Right.
Like they wanted to take.
Because you said you don't want a gig salary. You can't live on a gig salary.
And these people, music is their real. What I love about Louisiana, when you go down there, and when you go, especially to New Orleans, there's young people playing buckets with sticks.
Yeah.
Damn it, like you would have thought it's a full piece band. And you're like, okay, you know, music is so rich there. So whenever that cleared it, because they've always had corruption. Yeah. Corruption. Even when the levees broke, what they have, they married Megan or whatever. I want to say his name was Megan. But it was a brother. There was so much corruption. He was telling people, get on the bus. When you come back, your stuff will be here. Yeah. They got on the bus, they bought the dream. Their stuff is gone. They cleared that stuff out with like bulldozers and took it all down. And they have nowhere to come back to. But if you want to buy a high-end home and look nice, you're going to go there. They definitely got the spot there in Louisiana. But it's sad what they did. It's sad. No.
So the money, the reparations, if it were to rebuild the community, are you bringing public housing back? Because
definitely.
In one of the scenes on the show was like, make this mixed income, make this a mixed income community. So why can't I live where the other communities live? Right. Why can't I live here? Jerry, I wanted to talk about this because with your generation, there are so many influential young people that invest so much time that I am blown away by their conversation. And also because I learned something from them as well, but also you can get you a good man knowing this stuff, girl.
They love an educated woman, you know.
They either love it or they're afraid of it.
They're afraid.
And it's just good to know. And then you can walk into any party and bring this conversation up and know exactly what people are talking about because you're in the know. And this is when LaShawn will be old before me, but when we're old, because we got old ears. So when we're older, we need for you and your generation, we got to solely rely on y'all. And it's scary. It's a scary thing because you all are so fickle. It's a trend 1 minute. No, I love you. You know I love you, girl. You know that.
I know.
But some of your generation, I'll be like, I'm scared.
I agree. Sometimes I'll be like, I know why I was here, but I'm like, wow, is this my generation? Like sometimes I'm like a little like, ugh. But, I do like how a lot of us have grown and how mature we've gotten and how, woke we are, educated we are. Like we was going back to saying about the politics, like the young people, it's very important for us to vote because we are the change for the future. You know what I mean? Even with like the protests and the Black Lives Matter situation, like all being ran by people of our generation. And I know we've had this conversation, weeks before, but we can really make a difference. Like we are super powerful. We are born leaders. It's just that natural thing in us that we have, and seeing everything that's been going on in the world makes that leader and that fire and that power comes out. So we all need each other. We're here and we can make this change. We can definitely do it.
Here's my question though, and I'm not, and I can only ask you because you're the millennial chick, so you're the millennial on site. Is it a turn off? Is it, I don't understand it, you're talking over us, or we've heard this crap, let's just move on, let's not talk about this, this ain't hot, this is not something that I want to talk about. So what is it about this particular subject that turns many in your generation off? Because I'm listening, I'm a taxpayer, you're a taxpayer, you're a homeowner. You know what I'm saying? Like there's things that we want in our lives that we take seriously, but being that maybe some members in your generation don't have those obligations or responsibilities, I don't really care.
I think what it is it could be the way that we grew up and what was taught in our household. It could be a lack of knowledge too, and not understanding what's going on or not caring what to do about it. So I think those two factors come into play the most. Some people may think it's just boring, you know what I mean? Like I just don't want to talk about it. Like if it's not about a turnout party or the new Cardi B album or whatever like that, I don't want to talk about it, you know what I mean? So it could be a lack of interest.
Now Cardi B is in politics though.
She is in politics, and that's what I mean as far as like the young generation and about the change that because she's very so much into politics and she's a leader in that, you know what I mean? Like she's a very big spokesperson on it. So that's what I mean when I say like our younger generation is, we can make that change. We are, leaders. So I think those things come into play where they just don't want to talk about it. They're like, like whatever, I just don't want to deal with it. Or, like I said, this is boring, I don't know much about it. Oh, my parents taught me this, like, you know what I mean? So I think that's what can turn people off. And they also may see it as like a big responsibility because, the older generation is depending more on the younger generation for change. And they're just like, well, this is too much of a responsibility, I don't want to deal with this, I have my own stuff going on. It could be that. But like I said, we all need each other and we're the next ones up in line. Like
I will say that what you just said is confusing. And it's not just you. I hear my son say the exact same thing. My son is 22 years old. He pays his own bills. He goes to work, but he is not a registered voter. And he's like, Mom, I'm grown. I live my life the way I want to live my life. But as soon as something happens, as soon as he gets a little tickle in his throat, as soon as he doesn't understand something, what's he doing? Calling his mommy. He's calling his mommy. He doesn't understand, or he doesn't understand. How come they keep taking these taxes out my check?
It could be something that small.
How come I can't? Why do I have to pay this deductible? Why is this deductible on my health care so high?
So it could be something where, like I said, don't want to say kids, but the younger generation, we're still, even though we're adults, we're still growing up.
One minute you want to be an adult, not
you want to be
minute you want to be an adult, and the next minute you want to be a kid. And it's like we don't have that option. We got old ears. We don't have that option.
We had the same thing go on when we Never. I was younger. It used to always be the push to get the younger people to vote. And I think when I was in college, if I was away at college, I didn't do it. I didn't do a mail-in ballot. And those were like the Reagan eras and all of the Bush's eras. And so we didn't have it because, we were like, our mindset is that they're going to do what they want to do.
Right.
And essentially, they did what they want to do. We weren't empowered with the knowledge that you all have now.
Today,
Now, they fact check everything that everybody says. We didn't have the facts like that, like you guys have now. Mm-hmm. So yeah, we did some things that it was stupid, and we had, we suffered as a result of our stupidity. So now that we're older and we're woke, we have the same knowledge, we have the same information that you all have. So everybody suffers as a result of it. You guys got a whole bunch of information out here that it would make sense for you not to take a stand. So whenever you hear young people like, I'm grown, I'm doing my own thing, you're really not, because everything you do is dictated by how the law is ran. So you're not doing your own thing. If they don't make if you don't vote the right people in to make the laws, you think you work your hard job and you're entitled to that same house in the neighborhood that you always, wanted to be in. Well, no, because if this certain person's in office, you're not getting in that house because his cronies are in there, her cronies are in there, and they're keeping you from there. So it's not that you're doing what you want to do. Of course, you're doing what you want to do, but you're allowing other people to dictate what you do. So that's just the thing about the whole, law things. And then, young people, everybody's so into getting turned up and this is it and this doesn't matter to me. Well, you see what turned up is getting them. If they have 30 people in the crowd, 18's coming down with the coronavirus. Now listen, let's get smart here. And it's not about getting turned up all the time, because turned up is killing you. Stop. Read something. Educate yourself on something. I mean, Corona has hit people that weren't turned up. I get that. People have been in stores and been around people and got Corona. But when you're seeing, young millennials partying like it's 1999, as Prince would say, or just out there just living recklessly, and then coming down with the virus like, oh, this is real. Everything. It's so funny when I hear that. Oh, this is real.
Like, no, when the dude on the beach was like, I mean, if I catch the coronavirus, I catch the coronavirus.
Yeah.
And I think he caught the coronavirus.
Right.
Yeah.
He caught it.
They had a young girl talking about she had gone to all these different parties, and then she sat up there and did a little Instagram or one of those little tapes, and she landed in the bed with the cover over her head. She was like, yo, this is for real.
Like they were just playing about it.
What do you think these numbers are? Like, what do you think you can't get this? Like, people, let's use wisdom.
It's not just millennials too. It's a lot of us. It's a lot of us.
There's people that
it's a lot of people that think that this stuff ain't real. I'm thinking it's a conspiracy.
People who don't want to wear a mask.
Right.
Yeah. But again, the conversation needs to happen with every generation. We definitely need to wake up. I don't know if the 60, my mother, my father, I'm not sure, they kind of gave up on trying to figure out the new stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, all right, ain't nobody got time for that. Anybody got time to be trying to figure out no damn Netflix password? I don't know what that is. I'm gonna leave that to y'all kids. Y'all go ahead and do it. So now it's up to Fred, myself, LaShawn, or Laverne, and to continue to gain the knowledge that we need and make smart decisions. Jerry, you're going to want to buy a house one day. You're going to want to buy another house, and you're going to want to take out a loan or start a small business. And these situations, without the right knowledge, these situations can hinder you from those opportunities. Your generation, it's not all about, like you said, partying, and not everybody's, even our generation's out turning up, which we can't because we be down for 3 more days because we can't turn up like we used to. But
our turn up is different, man.
Our turn up, I'm turning in. After this show, I'm going to bed.
Girl, I got about an hour left.
You know, the conversation needs to be had. It does need to be had. So, all right.
It's not that hard, you know, to have the conversation. I love millennials. I love so much about them. And I think if we all work together, all the generations, I think sometimes we do more with criticizing them than we do with uplifting.
We don't understand them.
Yeah, I am so proud of the young people.
Yeah.
The way they've been marching. I know, and I can say this with confidence, that they'll be at the poll. Because they're so, you guys are so woke that, I hope so. You know, you're not going to do all this.
And please don't vote for Kanye.
Yeah. But you're gonna get a goofball. You're gonna get a goofball, and they're gonna suffer as a result of it. You know, or hopefully they'll learn from that.
If they keep making these mistakes and not thinking that this is a game. Yeah, we're going to be the ones to suffer.
They need to have on the ballot, like, you know, who's going to commit to praying for Kanye? Do a check, because that's been my thing. I'm committing to praying for him because that's a brother with issues right there. Yeah, I'm committing to praying for him because he got a check from me. You know, I'm not going to vote for him, but I commit to praying for him.
Ain't nothing wrong with him. He all right.
Yeah, no, he got some problems.
Rich man problem. That's what happened. Give me some money and see if I lose my mind. I done said that a couple times on the show. Yeah. Give me a couple $1 million and see if I lose my mind.
I won't lose mine.
All right. So, Jerry, I'm open to we can watch seeing it, because, you know, we can't talk to the woman of a certain age because she's going to be booked and on a date or cycling or playing tennis or golf or something. So Sunday nights, 10 o'clock, it might be up too late. But if you want to watch it together, we can watch together. So you got to check that out on CNN. Shout outs to W. Kamal Bell, United Shades of America. A must see. You must watch that every week. Shouts to him, and I hopefully one day we'll be blessed with his presence on our podcast. Hopefully,
that would be what
I did tweet him, and he did tweet me back.
He did.
I think I took it too far when I was like, "Hey, so now that I have you," and I was like, "Hello."
It's worth a try.
Hello?
Yeah, he said he's a pretty decent dude. Yeah.
Oh my God, he's hilarious.
Yeah. He has a comedy thing on Netflix. It's funny. I haven't had a chance to watch him, but I'm
he has a stand-up?
Oh, he has a stand-up. Yeah.
Oh, that's what's up.
I mean, Kamal Bell has been out for a while. It's not just CNN. He's always had something.
I'm just learning who he was.
He used to have at one time he was going to have a show, a nighttime show. I think I want to say it was on E. And I don't think that worked out. I don't think that worked out for him. But Kamal Bell, I'm familiar with.
Do we need to give Jerry an assignment? Like watch School Days.
You can give me some assignments. Give me some.
School Days. Watch the CNN United Shade. School Days and
Malcolm X, all of it. No, I'm not kidding.
I've seen Malcolm X.
I watched that the first time. I want to read the book,
though. I do want to read the book.
I watched that the first time on a bootleg, when bootlegs first came out. And that bootleg shook the whole time because whoever was filming was doing like this. And then I was new to bootlegs. That's the first and only one I've ever seen.
Shook the whole time.
So that was like 4 hours.
Will take care of that. Right. Take care of that option.
That show was 4 hours. The whole time we watching it, our heads is going. I was like, I've never been so dizzy after watching. I was like, oh, my head hurt. I couldn't figure it out. But whoever had the camera did like this. People was burping and farting in the background, and it was just. I was
burping and farting in the background.
It was such a good show. It was such a good movie that we all wanted to watch it. Although it's like 4 of us in the room, and somebody would cough, and they'd be like. Somebody would sneeze. They'd be like, "God bless you." It was like, "I didn't sneeze. That's the bootleg."
That was somebody the bootleg.
And it shook like this.
These are not bootleg. CNN, United Shades.
Not a bootleg. Good place.
I don't know about School Days. I mean, School Days was good, but you never saw School Days, right?
Nope.
Okay.
No.
All right.
I just watched some of Spike's joints.
No.
Well, that's Malcolm X was one of his.
No, Do the Right Thing.
I've seen that.
Watch it again. Watch it again because it's actually related to today. Radio Raheem said, I can't breathe.
Bill Nunn. He's from
Bill
here.
Nunn. He's from here. He passed away. He did.
He did die. Yeah.
He went to Shinley.
Schumann or Shinley?
Shinley.
Okay. I don't know. Put that man's business out there.
All
right. So that's the Hey Girl Hey podcast. I'm your radio chick, Kiki Brown.
And I'm the chatter chick, LaShawn Tipton.
And I'm y'all millennial, Julie T.
We did not say how folks can get past episodes, or how they can hear us. Go ahead, Jer. You're on.
So, to listen to past episodes of the Hey Girl Hey podcast, we are on Podbean, Spotify, Anchor FM, Live 365, Tune In, Apple Podcasts, and UrbanMediaToday.com.
And you can reach us via Facebook at the Hey Girl Hey podcast, or Twitter at Girl Hey 2018, or Instagram at Hey Girl Hey podcast 2018. Yeah, okay. Or you can email us at the Hey Girl Hey podcast at gmail.com. And the emails are great. Thank you. Appreciate it. Or you can call us at 412-709-6130.
You almost know it by heart.
Yeah,
Shawnee.
Girl, one time the phone rang, I was like,
ooh.
Yeah, like what? People call? Come on, call.
Hello.
And you can see us on YouTube too. Just, push in the Hey Girl Hey podcast. You have to see us because there's another Hey Girl Hey podcast on there as well. But you have to see us, Hey Girl Hey podcast 2018. And you'll see our faces. And I just enjoy the podcast on YouTube. They just bless me. I be looking like, oh, we are hilarious. And that is such a good topic. And we have great topics and great guests.
Yeah.
Check us out.